Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the 5 things that I love about the new Toyota Prius, and then also the 5 things that I hate about the new 2021 Toyota Prius. Pretty self-explanatory, so let's just get right into it. So the first thing that I love about the new Toyota Prius is the fuel economy. So I feel like this point is pretty self-explanatory and pretty quick, so I'll pop into the car, we'll go over it, and then we'll move on to the next point just to save you guys some time. I always go here because I'm used to the dash being here, but the Prius is over here on the side. So you guys can see my fuel economy's dropped a little bit because it's been over 100 degrees every single day, and you guys can see I've got the AC on full blast. But if you drive like a reasonable human being and you don't have the AC on full blast and you have an eco mode, which I'll pop it over in eco mode now, you can actually average 50 miles per gallon plus very easily, and I'm at 4,500 feet elevation. And so yes, fuel economy, definitely a high point of this car. I mean, that's what the Prius is all about, is getting good fuel economy. And it gets really good fuel economy. It's really attainable with what the EPA rates it at, and that diesel truck is so obnoxiously loud. But anyways, yes, first point, fuel economy. Now, the second thing that I love about the Prius has to pertain to the interior. Now, I feel like this one's also pretty self-explanatory, but let's pop in the interior so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So, opening the good old Prius up, I feel like it's just a pretty nice interior, right? This doesn't necessarily look beautiful, but you've got nice padding here. I love the seats. They're very comfortable, super soft with the leather. And you know what I mean? It looks pretty nice. And you guys can see front door panel and then front seats as well. But like overall, I feel like it's got a pretty nice interior, especially for the price point that this is at. Just the whole setup. And here's kind of a look at the steering wheel area. And then you guys saw that with the infotainment system. And then down below, I mean, it's not necessarily like beautiful, it's very practical though, and overall, I mean, for like a middle of the line package, I feel like this has a very nice interior. Now, the number 3 thing is the color on this particular Prius. So this color is called Electric Storm Blue, and I think it looks so good, especially here in the sunlight. You can see the nice metallic flake. There just really isn't bad lighting for this color. Even in the shade, it still looks really good. And yeah, just, I mean, one of the best looking colors you can get on a car. So yeah, definitely a high point on this particular Prius. Now, obviously, not every single Prius is going to have this color, and this is probably more of a rare color. Most people are probably going to go for like silver or white or black or something like that. But if you want to be crazy, go for this color. It looks fantastic. Now, the 4th thing that I love about this Prius has to pertain to the all-wheel drive system. So first off, I love the fact that the Prius now has all-wheel drive. It makes it so much more practical. If you guys don't know, I live in Utah, and for about half of the year, we have snow. And obviously, all-wheel drive is king in the snow. Just the added grip that you get from all-wheel drive is a huge plus. Now, the Prius has a pretty trick all-wheel drive system. So if you guys don't know, the Prius is a front-wheel drive-based car. And how they've given this car all-wheel drive is it still has the engine powering the front wheels, and you've got an electric motor also powering the front wheels. But what they've done is they've added another electric motor that powers the rear wheels, and that's how you get the all-wheel drive. So you still do get some torque steer and all that kind of stuff because you have more power going to the front wheels, but you still have enough power going to the rear wheels that you get some extra traction with the Prius. And overall, the all-wheel drive system is very seamless, and again, it just adds another layer of practicality to the Prius. And I thought I was going to get hit with an acorn in the head right there because, like, I mean, you guys probably heard that, but yeah. Anyways, the all-wheel drive system, it's awesome. Now, the 5th and final thing that I love about the Prius is the price. So I've got the handy-dandy window sticker sitting here on the seat. So you can see the total MSRP for this Prius is $31,629. Feel free to freeze the frame if you want to see all the equipment, and then you guys can see the fuel economy rating as well. Now, here's why I love the price of the Prius so much. So first off, $31,000 is significantly less than the price of the average new car. So right now, the price of the average new car is about $39,000. This is $31,000, so it's significantly less. But on top of that, you get a car that gets amazing fuel economy, that has a really nice interior, like I mentioned in the previous point, has all-wheel drive, has tons of safety tech. This has cruise control, it's got blind spot monitoring, it's got lane keep assist, it's got collision assistance, tons of safety control to keep you safe. And again, it is significantly less expensive than the price of the average new car. And so I feel like the Prius is just a really good value overall. And so yes, from a pricing perspective, I think it's solid. And that's why it's the 5th and final point. Now that we're done going over the 5 things that I love, let's quickly get into the 5 things that I don't exactly love about the Prius. So my first issue with the Prius is the exterior styling. So yes, I understand it's a Prius. It's not all about looks. It's all about being aerodynamically efficient and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I think we can all agree, even this beautiful blue color, it's not necessarily the prettiest looking car. Now the LED lights and the accent lighting and all that definitely helps. And again, the blue color definitely helps. But I mean, it's just kind of got this funny shape. And again, it's not really a beautiful car by any means, but I mean, everyone knows that, right? That's just what the Prius is. This definitely looks better than previous Priuses, and I do like the new taillights and all that. But again, they've definitely gone for practicality and usability and function over form with the Prius, which makes sense because that's what this car is all about. But I still have to make that into a point that I'm not exactly a fan of the exterior styling. Now, the number 2 thing that I don't love is the phone charging pad. So now we've got to pop back into the Prius, and well, actually I'm going to turn it on because that'll make this a little bit easier. So we have our wireless charging pad right here, and as you guys can see, I totally shouldn't have thrown my phone there, but you know what, I guess I have a little bit too much energy today. So you can see it's charging, but here's what happens with the Prius is whenever you accelerate, right, the phone will go from here to here, maybe when you're braking, or maybe when you take a turn, it'll go to the side or go to the other side. Your phone just kind of goes all over the place, and you notice that the light turns orange and all that kind of stuff. But this is constant what your phone's doing while you're driving in the Prius. And not only is it annoying, but it makes it so that your phone randomly stops charging all the time, and it's like it doesn't hold it in place whatsoever. And what typically happens, you can see it's not charging again, is it'll kind of go like this, or what'll happen all the time is sometimes, like, if I accelerate too hard, it'll kind of fly up like that. I mean, I'm kind of over exaggerating to an extent, but yeah, they need a phone charger that actually holds the phone in place so you can consistently charge it, rather than your phone kind of like falling off to the side and then obviously not charging. And also, notice how I have my wallpaper as my old Supra. This is the equivalent of having your ex-girlfriend as your wallpaper after you know, obviously broke up, because I sold that car back in January, but like, it's such a cool wallpaper. Now the number 3 thing is the backup camera situation. Well, I've got to start her up again, and now that she has started up, we're going to pop the Prius into reverse and go over why I have some beef with the backup camera. Actually, we'll pop it into drive first. I'll go forward a little bit down the driveway. Okay. Now we'll pop it into reverse. So here's my problem with the backup camera. First off, it beeps, which is pretty annoying. The second thing is the trajectory lines are not accurate for the car. Okay, so you guys can see how far these trajectory lines go out. Those trajectory lines are wider than the car is. So you can see that it's showing that I'm going to like the very edge of the driveway here on the side. If I pop the car into park, so the outline of the car is like right here, but the backup camera is saying that the car is going right there, which, I mean, I guess that's not a huge issue, because then that means that you're going to be like twice as careful with parking, because using the backup camera, you're going to think the car's a lot wider than it is. But also, again, it's kind of annoying because the lines don't perfectly line up with the car. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that's the point. Again, the car is right here, but then you guys saw the backup camera lines were like right here with the driveway. So yeah, again, just a little bit annoying, and the beeping sound as well. I'm not a huge fan of the beeping sound. Now the 4th thing has to do with the remote start system. So here's our key fob for the Prius, which doesn't look all that bad. Now, first off, this particular Prius doesn't have remote start, right? It's in the XLE package. But my beef is kind of just with Toyota's remote start system in general. So how you remote start a Toyota is you basically have to just spam the lock button. Now, technically, you're supposed to press it twice and then hold it down, and that'll do the remote start. But it doesn't work half the time, and so yeah, I guess it's like a double B. First off, I feel like this should have remote start, and it doesn't. But then the bigger thing is just with Toyota's remote start system, I wish they'd have a separate button on their key fobs for remote start. The thing that's funny is I will have so many comments in my videos whenever I remote start a Toyota where people will be like, wow, I didn't even know that my Toyota had remote start because of how confusing the system is. And so yeah, I feel like that's a little bit of an oversight. And so first off, I wish this had remote start. It doesn't. And then on top of that, if it did have remote start, it needs to have a separate button rather than, you know, spamming the lock button to do the whole remote start system. Now, the 5th and final thing is the acceleration. We are in the power driving mode, and the reason we're in the power mode is that is kind of like your sporty driving mode. And I am just going to make a point here. So, coming to a full stop, turning, full throttle, like foot is all the way down. It gets up and moves, and especially at lower speeds, it actually moves at a pretty good pace. The problem comes when you're going at faster speeds, and the fact that unless you're full throttle, it literally doesn't move. So like I'm 40 miles an hour, and if I like partially go into the throttle, it'll start to accelerate a little bit, that's fine. But once you're up to like 60-ish miles an hour, if you go partial throttle, it doesn't go any faster. It just stays at the same speed. You have to like mash the gas pedal all the way down, and then it accelerates. It doesn't really have any passing power. Like, you just have to understand that if you're at higher speeds with this car, you're not gonna be able to pass people. But again, like I've said in previous videos, around town, it does great. The torque that you get from the electric motors just gives it a nice shove off the line that it's great. It's just that on the highway, it definitely lags, and it's just not a fast car. But again, that's not what the Prius is about. The Prius is about being economical from a price point perspective, and then also from a gas perspective. So yes, it's not gonna be the quickest, but since this is my video, I'm gonna complain about it because I can, right? So yeah, that's definitely there. And yeah, I guess that's the last point, is with the acceleration of the Prius. Now that's gonna sum things up for a video on the 5 things that I love and the 5 things that I hate on the 2021 Toyota Prius. And yeah, as always, if you're stopping for the first time, please subscribe. I'll see all of you in that next video.